Happy Monday, everybody. This is Mr. Fields. I am going to be making my video debut today in our very first money-oriented finance lab. So you opened up the sheet that was attached to the assignment for today, and yours is blank, but the first thing we're going to do is set up what I already have here in row 1, where it says check, number, date, transaction description, payment, which is money going out, deposits, which is money coming in, and balance. And what this is the beginning of an old-fashioned checkbook register or bank account register, which helps you keep track of your money. So make A and B about as wide as they are here. Make column C quite a bit wider. You know how to do that from the first 2 weeks. D, E, and F about that wide. Pause the video and make sure that that's done. You can box them in, you can change the color, you can change the font, but your goal is to make it look like that. Remember, we try to make videos in the least amount of time that we can for recording and uploading purposes, but you always have the option to pause. So don't forget that. If you fall behind where the video is, just hit pause, catch up, rewatch it, whatever you need to do. The next thing, once you have this taken care of, is I know from having done this assignment before that it's going to take us down to row 16. So I'm going to have you select A through F and all the way down to 16. And then we're going to add some borders. I chose thick borders. That's up to you how you want to do it. And now I have a checkbook register ready to go, which is basically a running total of the money coming in and out of my bank account. The other file that was on the assignment has this list of transactions. And you can see that it starts because at some point you start keeping track of your money, and it might be when you have $0 in your account when you first open it, but we're going to pretend that we had a beginning balance of $1,054.65. So a beginning balance of $1,054.65. And mine showed up as money already because I had already formatted it money. What I would do if I were you is take these last 3 columns, payment, deposit, and balance. I would select all of them and go up and hit the money shortcut, which means format as currency. If you do that, any number that you type in or that shows up for any reason in these 3 columns will be formatted as money. And it's not really a transaction, but I'll call that my balance. Now, the next time, let's say in row 3, the next transaction is either going to be me taking money out of my bank account or me putting money into my bank account. But it starts with this $1054.65. So the next balance is going to be an equation equals this cell, F2, right, the balance I had before, minus any payment I made on the next line, which is D3, because that's money leaving my account, so minus, and then plus any money I deposited in the account, which is plus E3. So if you took your balance, subtracted anything that came out, and added anything that went in, you'd have a new balance. And right now it's 1054.65 because I haven't had anything put in here yet. If you take this cell, the second one here, where the formula is, grab that bottom corner and copy it to the bottom, you've now copied the formula all the way to the bottom. You haven't really copied the content of the cell, you've actually copied the formula. So if we go back to our first actual transaction, I'll try to keep track of these as I go. You receive your paycheck. That's money coming in on July 9th for $867.89. So I'm going to deposit my paycheck in the amount of $867.89. Deposit $867.89. And if you notice, because I put money in, the balance now went up automatically because we already had that formula in there. I believe the date was July 9th. And I only keep track of the check numbers if I write a check. Okay, next it says on July 11th, you wrote check number 1029 to Time Warner to pay my cable bill. That bill was $45.56. So that's money coming out of my account. That's a bad thing. So I'm going to go over here, $45.56, and it was for Time Warner Cable, and it was $45.56, right? Yep. But I put it here on the payment side because that's money going out of my account. You'll have a lot more transactions that leave your account than go into your account. Because typically when you put money in your account, it's a paycheck, and paychecks only happen maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. It's a lot of money, but doesn't happen very often. Or payments, you write checks a lot. You swipe your debit card a lot. You buy things often. So it's usually a lot more smaller amounts. And that was July 11th, and it was check number 1029. So I try to put as much information as I can in each line. And notice that went from 1922 down to 1876. So the third one is on July 13th, I wrote the next check, 1030, to BFI to pay my garbage bill for $56.78. I'm going to pay my bill, $56.78, to BFI Garbage. That was on the 13th, and it was check number 1030. And notice it went down a little bit more now. Now on July 13th, I swiped my debit card to buy food at Publix. If you've ever been down south, that's a supermarket. $34.56. On July 13th, I bought food at Publix for $34.56. And again, it's creeping down even more. More money is coming out of my account. Very much like a running total. Then on the 14th, I go to the mall and take money out of the ATM machine. You know how some ATM machines charge you a fee? So not only did I take out $40, but I took out $2 more as well. So you can treat that as one withdrawal of $42. So I'm going to say I went to the ATM on July 14th, and it ended up costing me $42. Even though I only took out $40, it charged me $2 extra. Then on the next day, I wrote check number 1031 to my utility company for my water bill for $120.34. And you can just put water bill if you want. And that was on July 15th. And it was check number 1031. And you can see I'm down now to $16.23. I got that big paycheck, but now I'm taking money out every time for little things that I need. On that same July 15th, I write check number 1032 to Bank of America for my mortgage, which is my house loan, $867.97. I'll just put mortgage. That was the same date. It was check 1032. Now notice the mortgage is a big one, right? And that took a huge chunk of my money, and that's what it usually does. That's usually your biggest monthly bill. So now I'm down to $755.33. And my next is a good one. On the 17th, I deposit a dividend check because I have stocks. I own stocks. And I made some money in the stock market, and it was for $110. So on July 17th, it was Franklin and Templeton, which must be my stockbroker, for $110. Now remember, that's a good thing. That's money coming in, so it goes on the deposit side. So now I'm back up to $865.33. And this next one here, I had to go to Home Depot on the 20th to buy a new washing machine for $545.78. That's going to be on the bad column, right? The money going out. So I went to Home Depot, and that was on the 20th. On July 22nd, I have another paycheck. I got paid again. I got paid $989.56, but I put $100 in my savings account. So as far as that's in a different account. So really, I'm just depositing this $898.56. So $898.56 is being deposited. We'll call that my paycheck. And that was on July 22nd. Now notice I was down to $319 after that washing machine, but I didn't run out of money because I got paid, and now I'm back up to $12.18. Then I go back to Publix because I ran out of food, and I buy food at Publix for $87.23 on July 24th. And again, that's the money going out. So now I'm down to $11.30. And then on the 26th, I have to pay my car insurance with check number 1033 to State Farm for $137.67. So $137.67. But notice I just started typing it in the wrong cell there. It's got to go over here. That's money going out. That's my State Farm or car insurance. And it was check number 1033, and the date was July 26th. So the reason you want to keep track of this is, number one, so you don't try to buy something when you're all out of money, but also because the bank's going to send you a bank statement, but they're only going to do that once a month. So the next lesson we do down the road is going to show you how to reconcile that, or how to compare what you keep track of on a daily basis with what the bank keeps track of once a month, and to make sure you agree with them and you didn't miss anything. I thought I had the right number of lines, but I don't. So what you could do is highlight this row, which is just a bunch of blank cells, and copy that little blue corner, copy it over the bottom two, because we didn't need them. And that should have been your final balance at the end of all of this. So I made the final balance a different color. I made it a little bit bigger. And we're going to submit this under today's assignment now that you have an idea of how to keep track of banks statements. Now, the reason this all worked again was cell F3, because we took whatever the balance was, we added anything in this cell, we subtracted everything in this cell, added anything in this cell, and gave us a running total. And when we copied that formula down, it created the same process for every single row. 993.21 at the end of the month. So go ahead and submit this file, and we'll take it further later in the week.